she's disinformation, all that. But lo and behold, it was actually true.
Now, I know that a lot of you today have seen these videos of people being turned away at the polls in places like Delaware County and Bucks County. And last night we even saw one of our great local leaders, Val Biancaniello, arrested at the polls for telling people to stay in line. All she was doing was telling folks, stay and vote. They took her away in handcuffs. Folks, here's what's happening. Democrat election officials are seeing our numbers. They're seeing our turnout. They are seeing us breaking early vote records across Pennsylvania. They are terrified and they want to stop our momentum. We are not going to let them suppress our votes. We are going to fight. I'm proud tonight to tell you that the Trump-Vance campaign has just filed a huge lawsuit against Bucks County for turning away our voters. We are going to fight this thing in court, and all we ask of you is to stay in line. Donald Trump needs your votes. Donald Trump needs Pennsylvania, and America needs Pennsylvania.
Washington Post has a show which we know is a liberal bastion of derangement. This is one reason why many of them quit and were so upset that they couldn't endorse Kamala Harris. They couldn't endorse the Democrat for the umpteenth time in a row. You know, like, no surprise that they're going to endorse them because Jeff Bezos put a squash to that. He said, no, we're no longer going to endorse this. And they were so outraged by it. But they still have the machine going. They still have the disinformation going. But my goodness, take a look at what happened when they were called out on it.
Well, I've just got to say, we're news people, even though we're at the opinion section. It's got to be reported. Bucks County was reversed by the court and instructed to open up extra days because they violated the law and told people to go home. So that lawsuit was brought by the Republican National Committee, and it was successful. The Supreme Court ruled that Glenn Youngkin was successful. We are news people, even though we have opinions, and we have to report the whole story if we bring up part of the story. So yes, he's upset about Bucks County, but he was right, and he won in court. That's the story.
I'll let you keep going, Jonathan.
No, I don't appreciate being lectured about reporting when many times you come here saying lots of things that aren't.
I won't come back, Jonathan. I'm done. This is the most unfair election ad I have ever been a part of. You guys are working. That's fine. I'm done.
So Ruth, you wrote a column this week ending with this line, and actually I think this is perfect. We're going to put it on the screen. You wrote, "You want to know the stakes of this election? Not only democracy, but decency." Talk more about that, Ruth.
Okay, collecting myself.
Oh, Ruth froze. Ruth is frozen. So hang in there, everyone. We're going to see if we can try to get Ruth back to this. We're going to get Ruth back in a moment. This is First Look, Washington Post Live's nonstop shop for news and analysis, and Ruth is back. So I'm going to read that quote back again from your column, Ruth, where you wrote, "You want to know the stakes of this election? Not only democracy, but decency." We lost her again. Everybody, if you've been watching First Look, you know that these conversations can be interesting, contentious. You just saw Hugh Hewitt leave the conversation, which is lamentable, unfortunate. It is what it is.
Now we've seen multiple hoaxes have been debunked, but there's plenty more. You will be surprised how many people do not know the truth behind these types of things. And once the main headlines are done, most people don't go back to check. They just eat it up, like the Democrat vomit sickle, whatever is fed to them like sheep, they're just going to believe it. But this site, I want to encourage you to check it out and also share this with any friends or family. It's called the American Debunk. And they go through and debunk any of the false stories about Trump. This is where they are debunking the whole Liz Cheney thing. As soon as a hoax comes out, the bloodbath one, the drinking the bleach, the fine people hoax, which is absolutely amazing how they dismantle that. The October 24th Atlantic hoax. So they go through and they debunk these things. So this is where you want to go to look at what the real information is, what is actually being said, and we've got to start pushing back because we know mainstream won't. And thank goodness that Elon Musk bought Twitter and X, whatever you want to call it, and he is a voice that is mainstream, that is fighting against this, and owning a platform like Twitter is very important. We know that Kamala and the left, they absolutely hate free speech. This is one of the things she wants to silence free speech. This is something I put in a video yesterday. She has said it over and over. Tim Walz has doubled down on it. Hillary Clinton, they talk about it's disinformation. Only disinformation comes from the right. This is why the whole story, I don't know if you guys are aware of it, with more hoax and disinformation, where the New York Times and the Washington Post on the same day try to basically silence the right, silence any type of right-leaning pundit mostly on YouTube, and say that they were disseminating misinformation or disinformation about the election and wanting YouTube to silence them. And it was featuring Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, about 30 right-wing people. They didn't say that, the mainstream puts out disinformation. They didn't go into how the left puts out disinformation. Just any opinion that they don't agree with, they claim is disinformation with barely any evidence. And it's not disinformation, but it's just information they don't like. And it's just bizarre that the same day the Washington Post and the New York Times did the same thing. But essentially, YouTube told them to go F themselves, and that they didn't find anything that violated their community guidelines. And so I know that really hurt, because they thought right before the election, because she's losing. Again, all these hoax and all these things that they're trying to do to silence the right, they're doing it because the writing's on the wall. So they've got to just throw anything at the wall so it can stick and try to get people to not vote for Donald Trump. But it's pretty much over. And when YouTube told them, F you, we're not going to do that. We're not going to silence people, and especially just silence people on the right because you don't like what they have to say. They haven't violated anything that are part of YouTube's terms of service, so go F yourself. And that's what we need to do on November 5th. Tell Kamala Harris to go F herself, and the Democrat machine, these celebrities, which are mostly tied to Diddy endorsing her, and the mainstream media. Because I cannot wait to see the complete meltdown. We're going to have content and entertainment for days.
I thought this was the only thing harming my neighbor.
A lot of people